The story begins by showing a diffusing scene of an explosive wit. When there are a few seconds left before the explosion, the voice of a woman calling Walter is heard. Walter turns out to be a child, and the bomb scene was just his imagination. The mother, wearing a police uniform, walks into her son's room and asks what she is doing. Walter states that he is designing a gadget that will help his mother in her dangerous missions. The genius child loves to invent and build protective gadgets for his mother, so the woman claims that when the child grows up she will be able to do great things, including saving people thanks to her devices. But Walter is saddened and reminds her that everyone at school calls him weird. After that, the child proceeds to show his happiness device, which simply floods the room with glitter. The mother has to run away to work, so she leaves her son at home and leaves. 14 years pass. The scene moves somewhere in the snow-capped mountains of Japan, showing a huge building in the middle of nowhere. Two armed guards are keeping an eye on the place, but suddenly they hear a voice around the corner and point their weapons in that direction. A man appears casually. This man is Lance, the most acclaimed and famous secret agent in the world, who arrived here to carry out his mission. He knocks out the two agents and, before entering the building, he notices pigeons watching him. Meanwhile, the head of the agency, a woman named Joy, keeps an eye on the situation through spy drones. Through these drones, the woman is able to identify the objective of the mission. That is the briefcase with the assassin drone inside, a weapon of lethal destruction. Lance's job is to wait for the support team, retrieve the briefcase, and return to base. However, Lance is fearless and self-centered, so he cuts off communication with the base and proceeds to carry out the mission alone. The building is full of underworld henchmen, headed by Katsu Kimura. Meanwhile, a helicopter lands near the base, and a man with a cold and evil gaze comes out from inside. The man has a mechanical arm and looks like Killian, and he came here to buy the briefcase with the drone. Lance waits for nothing more, then destroys the giant aquarium, then knocks out the guards with ease and comes face to face with Katsu and Killian, who know the identity of the spy in front of them. Lance puts the great Katsu to sleep by squeezing the vagus nerve on his neck. Killian looks at everything with a smile. Using a moment of distraction, he blocks Lance with his mechanical arm, then scans his face with his robotic eye, and finally asks if he remembers him. Lance apparently does not recognize the villain in front of him and frees himself by electrocuting the man. In that instant, the building is invaded by Katsu's henchmen, so Killian takes the briefcase and walks away without problems. The villains are about to attack the spy, but the man uses a stun grenade, which actually turns out to be a glitter explosion with the projection of a kitten. Lance is also amazed by this effect, but still takes advantage of the possibility of safety, knocking out some henchmen and flying out of the building through the roof. During the jump, the man is also able to retrieve the briefcase, returning to the base. The scene shows Washington, D.C. and Lance whizzing by in his sports car. We discover that his agency's secret base is located underground. Lance arrives and is greeted with applause by all of his colleagues. We quickly understand that he is a star here, and beyond that he loves being the center of attention. However, when he enters the elevator, a shower of glitter appears from his jacket complete with kitten projections, causing him to anger. All this is the work of Walter, the genius child of the beginning of the film who loves designing non-lethal defense gadgets. Other scientists invent weapons, so they consider Walter a weird and don't take him seriously. Lance then meets Walter to ask him why his gadgets are malfunctioning. The boy justifies himself by saying that you shouldn't kill people, which Lance obviously doesn't take well. He tries to convince the young scientist to just do his job and give him some weapon gadgets, but Walter refuses, thus being embarrassingly fired in front of all his colleagues. The agent presents himself to the report in front of the head of the agency, but although he is very sure of himself, he discovers to his surprise that the briefcase is empty. Before he can understand anything, a special team headed by Agent Marcy Koppel bursts into the room claiming that Lance has stolen the contents of the briefcase. Although no one believes her, the girl proceeds to show a video in which Lance uses the drone to kill agents. Lance is clearly upset by this, and quickly realizes that Killian scanned his face to carry out the crimes under his identity. Officer Marcy obviously doesn't believe him and tries to arrest him, but Lance escapes the building without any problems. Meanwhile, Killian is on his way, and in the meantime he shows how he can use his technology to take on Lance's face. He arrives at his destination, which is the secret warehouse of the agency. The guards think it's Lance, so using the surprise effect he has no trouble killing them. In all of this, the real Lance is hiding in his car, thinking of a plan. He remembers the weird scientist he fired this morning, tracks him down with his GPS and heads to meet him hoping for help. Walter is sad in his house, and when he passes by the photos on the wall we understand that his mother died on duty when he was little. He has a pet pigeon to keep him company, and he loves watching Japanese drama movies. In all this he continues his tests in constant search of the invisibility serum. Although he has been fired, this is his lucky day as the serum shows positive feedback when a feather from his pigeon disappears into the clear liquid. Lance appears out of nowhere, scaring the boy. Wasting no time, Lance claims he wants a gadget that will help him blend in with the agency, so he can sneak up on Killian. As Walter stammers, Lance drinks the serum with the feather, believing it to be water. A few seconds pass before the transformation begins. Because the liquid contained the DNA of a pigeon, Lance is transformed into a pigeon, sending him into a panic. The boy in turn is very happy because the serum finally works. The man does not share the boy's happiness, orders him to transform him back into human. But with him dismayed by him, he discovers that Walter still does not have an antidote. On top of that, he discovers that the agency is on its way here as they have discovered his location. Although he is angry with Walter, he has no choice but to ask the boy for help in order to escape from the agency. Officer Marcy arrives at the scene, but notices that the two are running away in Lance's car, so a chase begins. Lance attempts to use weapons several times, but Walter refuses to resort to violence, causing the car to glitch. In the end, they still manage to escape from the chase. They take the private jet to the Kimura resort in Mexico and interrogate him for information on Killian. On the way, Lance can't bear to be a pigeon and constantly blames the boy. Arriving at the resort, the two have no problem wandering around as Lance is not recognized by the henchmen. However, two strange pigeons join Lance, and to his disapproval create a flock. Lance tries several times to push them away and to carry out the mission, but because of them he continually ends up in trouble. Eventually he still manages to retrieve the access card for Kimura's room. Kimura is taken by surprise, fearing that now they will harm him, but because of the flock he discovers that Lance is only a pigeon and is about to kill him. Fortunately, Lance is saved by the boy, who uses his device to paralyze Kimura, then uses his truth serum to make him reveal Killian's plan, which is that he is now on his way to Venice to steal the database of secret agents. At that moment the agent Marcy arrives with the special team and tries to arrest Walter, but the boy manages to escape, thanks to his gadgets and the help of the pigeons. Marcy and the other agents get stuck in Walter's special glue, and they don't understand why the boy runs away from them. The scene returns to the secret base again, where Killian forces the scientists to build a device. When the construction is completed, he kills everyone without any qualms. Walter and Lance are on their way to Venice, and the man is constantly annoyed by his flock. The boy has finished his antidote, but it turns out to be a failure and needs more tests. Lance loses his temper and claims that it is Walter's fault that so many innocent people die, and accuses the boy of not knowing what it feels like when someone important dies because of a villain. The boy is saddened by these words, not finding the courage to tell him about his mother who died in service. The journey comes to an end and they arrive in Venice in the middle of the night, but unfortunately a special team is already waiting for them, as Kimura has revealed the whole truth. Officer Marcy does not know that Lance is a pigeon, so he only talks to Walter, saying that they now appreciate his skills and that his dead mother on duty will surely be proud of him. Lance realizes he hurt the boy with the words he spoke on the boat. Although that, Walter does not betray his teammate, but before he can do anything else an explosion comes from the neighboring building. The agents run there and are neutralized. Meanwhile, Lance chases Killian's drone with the help of his pigeon friends, and finally retrieves the database. The team celebrates the victory, but the fun doesn't last long as Killian appears out of nowhere and hits the boy. While the boy is lying on the ground without strength, Killian approaches. When he is about to kill him, the boy throws breadcrumbs at him, saving himself thanks to the flock of hungry pigeons. At this moment Agent Marcy arrives, and although Killian impersonates Lance, the girl notices her robotic arm, and she then realizes that Lance is innocent and that they are hunting the wrong man. Killian escapes in the process. Lance and Walter move away from the place inside a submarine, but the boy reveals that he put a GPS on the villain, so now they know where he is hiding. During the journey Walter manages to complete his serum, so Lance drinks it and eventually returns to his human form. Lance thanks the boy and states that they are a team, but when they arrive at Killian's lair, Lance still decides to act alone so as not to risk the boy's life, so he paralyzes him with a device and sends him home. He sneaks into the lair, neutralizes the drone smoothly and throws it at Killian's feet, convinced that he has put an end to his evil plan. The villain laughs and reveals that his plan is to kill all the agents of the secret agency, and that destroyed drone is just one of 1,000 he has built. He blocks Killian with an electric shock and ties him to the chair so he can witness the killing. The villain reveals that many years ago Lance's agency killed his gang of villains, and he too suffered severe damage in the attack, practically turning him into a robot. Now he wants revenge, so he plugs the database into the system and sends the drones to neutralize all targets. As if that weren't enough, Walter is returning here with the submarine, and in front of a helpless Lance, Killian sends the drones and detonates the submarine. A tear of pain slides down the agent's cheek. Meanwhile, all the employees of the agency are taking refuge at the secret base that will soon be attacked. Night falls, and to Lance's surprise, Walter appears with the pigeons. They were saved thanks to his strange defensive gadgets. The two embrace. This time Lance states that they are a team for real, and entrusts the boy with the coordination of the rescue mission. Lance sends their location to Marcy and plans to hack Killian's robotic arm, because that's what drives the drones. Marcy's team arrives, and using Walter's weird gadgets, they manage to thwart the drone attacks. Killian tries to escape with the last drone, but Walter clings to him. He must now make a choice: deactivate the drones and die, or save himself and let all the other agents die. Obviously he chooses to sacrifice himself, and by deactivating the drones he also proceeds to save Killian at the cost of his own life. All agents are safe, but Walter plunges down to his death. Suddenly Lance appears, transformed into a pigeon, and manages to save the boy along with the other pigeons. Killian is arrested, but the two are fired for breaking the rules. As they converse on the stairs, they are kidnapped and put into a van. It is actually Agent Marcy with the head of the agency, who reveals that now the two of them will be put in charge of a special department aimed at fighting evil. Thanks for watching. If you liked the video, leave a like, comment and subscribe.